Strategic TV advertising for B2B marketers. Connected TV, or CTV for short, is how nearly the majority of us watch or consume television. Previously, television advertising only really suited B2C brands. But CTV offers advertisers the ability to target customers in a way which traditional linear broadcast television never could. With online advertising becoming more crowded by the day, CTV offers the opportunity for more focused attention in a relatively uncluttered space. So, if you're up for exploring new possibilities, you may well find that incorporating a television advertising campaign into your marketing mix might not sound as crazy as it previously would have. Hello, good afternoon. My name's James Rostance, and this is the 414 Live. It's for you as a professional B2B marketer, whether you work in-house at a company or agency side, or indeed if you're a company executive with a hands-on role in your company's sales and marketing activities. And every week, I speak with some of the greatest and most interesting minds in B2B marketing so that you can directly expand and enhance your professional knowledge with every single episode. And this week, as I mentioned, we're diving into the world of CTV and how that's really changed things for B2B marketers to be able to actually use it as a medium to market to your customers. That's on the show today, and quick note before we cross over live to Sarasota in Florida, where my guest is standing by live. If you haven't already subscribed, www.the414.net is where you can sign up to receive the show's weekly email so that you never miss an episode. So that's the414.net to sign up there, or indeed sign up on your podcasting app. It's on every single podcasting app available. Just search for the 414. All right. With that said, then let's now then cross over to pretty much the other side of the world, where in Sarasota, Florida, Mr. Hamid Qayyum is waiting for us live. Hamid, good morning to you where you are. Good afternoon here from the UK.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me on today.
It's an absolute pleasure. And yeah, so you're an expert in CTV and everything that goes along with it. So if I may, then, we're going to just charge right through this and get a complete understanding for what it is, how it differs, and ultimately how B2B marketers can potentially use this as a medium for attracting new customers and winning business. So with that said, could I start by asking you, straightforward, what is CTV and how is it different from regular TV?
Sure. So CTV is streaming of media to the big screen in the home, right? So streaming can be across multiple devices. You can get streaming content on your phone or on your tablet, but CTV particularly is to the television set, either through a smart TV or through a box like a Roku or Apple TV or something like that that is connected to your big TV. So you're watching your streaming content on the large screen, not on the other devices in the home.
Nice. And that presumably includes watching on your mobile phone as well. So is that correct?
Well, a mobile phone would be what we call OTT, right? So a connected TV is particular to the television in the home, the large screen. OTT is over the top, which is the streaming to all the devices, which are mobile, desktop, and your connected television.
That's a good and important point of what's the word? Differentiation? No, that's the wrong word. But thank you for clearing that up. All right. Yeah. Well, the big one, I guess, and then this is very much the whole premise of the show today is, why would a B2B marketer want to use CTV? And with that, what's the angle here?
Right. So the beauty of CTV is actually three things to me. One is the fact that everything is addressable. Mm-hmm. So, you can do targeting and be able to target that CMO that you are trying to hit, be able to get them on the big screen while they're enjoying entertainment at home. The other piece is that everything is pretty much on demand, so the person is there by choice. They really want to watch that show. It's not like the TV is running in the background, something's just going on. So it's a very on demand type of medium, and so it doesn't. You don't look at it from I want to buy a certain program or I want to buy a certain show on prime time. It's they can watch that show at any time, right? So that premise, and then the measurability of it. It's a digital medium. It's driven by the streaming and what we call IP related or internet protocol related transfer. So it is something that's very measurable, right? So the characteristics of the two eyeballs that are watching your show. The characteristics of those eyeballs from the fact that it is very measurable.
Right. Okay. That's I can well imagine is the main reason for wanting to do this. But how accurate or how detailed is the targeting then that is available for CTV? And I guess, is there a difference between what you guys can do in America versus what we can do here in UK and Europe?
Great question. So here in the U.S., I guess people have been saying it's like the Wild West of data, right? So it means that we have a lot more granularity in our targeting and segmenting and audience creation scenarios. So we can add a lot of demographic data. We can add a lot of preference data and propensity data, those kind of things, to be able to find the audience. The other big thing is we can also combine data from your business type of your business characteristics and your home characteristics. So those are some important things. So what that allows us to do is say, James, you're in the market for a BMW, but you're looking for a sedan. So we can target you that way. While I'm in the market for a BMW looking for SUV, then I can get a different ad. Same type of thing from a B2B perspective, right? We can find the CMO and target them at home while they're watching, their favorite shows or streaming whatever content they want to stream. It's not limited to try to get them on like the Financial Times or something like that. We can take that across any of their consumption, habits from a personal level. In the UK or EU, it's a little different with GPDR. There's consent and different things. So CTV is a little different there in the sense that there are additional hoops we have to jump through to be able to do the targeting, including getting consent to do so, plus other criteria that comes into play. So there we do a lot more contextual. The other piece we can do very well from CTV is also do contextual, where similar to how you would do a display ad and target the Financial Times, we can do similar thing with programming and do contextual-based targeting.
I'm glad you covered a contextual advertising right there. I've come across that. So there's two different types, isn't there, of advertising that you can do with CTV. Could you, for the sake of complete clarity, run us through the two different types of advertising which you can do and take to market with CTV?
Right. So again, being highly targetable, it allows us to do either behavioral based, right, or demographic based, or employment based, or title based, right? So you want to target all the CMOs, or you want to target IT managers, that type of level. But the other thing we can do. That's the behavioral demographic type of targeting. The other area is contextual, right? Which is based on what is the viewership of certain type of programming or category of programming. We can do that as well within CTV. So you have multiple ways of reaching your audience, either behavioral, job specific, interest specific ways, or in a viewership, certain categories and contextual method.
Okay. I just thought I wanted to also cover the the differences between US and UK Europe advertising is GDPR. How would a marketer actually get opt-in or the ability to use more detailed targeting with CTV? How do you go about that?
It's the same as digital, right? So any type of digital, you have to work within the framework. Like for example, we have the IAB TCF framework. We work through that, and so there's different ways that a marketer can go in and get that consent to be able to do the targeting. The primary thing is that you have to get the consent, right? So it's not a opt-out methodology where most of the world is, where you have to come in and say, I don't want the ad. This is actually the opt-in methodology, which is saying, yeah, I'm willing to see the ad, right? So that's the big difference. And there's, mechanisms through different organizations to be able to get that within the EU. US, we have opt-out type of thing. So we do have consumers that can opt out of our advertising, and a small fraction do actually go and opt out. And for that, when we get that notice, we make sure that we don't target those individuals or those households. Europe or EU is different in the sense that we actually have to go get people to opt in to say, yes, I'm willing to see it. Everybody else has opted out until we get that okay.
With you, okay. So in terms of the specifics of them opting in, do they press a button on their remote control for their TV, or what's the actual physical, well, if you could call it that, the actual process where they give their consent? How where is that done?
It's not from pressing a button on their remote. It's generally done through your application that you're using. So if you're, for example, in the US, if you have HGTV, or you're watching on Sling or something like that, that's where you would go in and opt in or opt out of being able to do it. And that data is then passed on to companies like mine, which then say, okay, this person says, yes, we can target that. So it's not actually done through the CTV device. It's done through the publishers that have to get the okay to be able to send you an ad. Because the way it works is companies like mine that have data and a demand side platform like a DSP, we work with publishers, and publishers say, hey, James in London has said okay to receive ads. You can send him ads, and at that point, we can then target you or your household because you've given the consent. But the publisher is the one that gets it. And then we have to be able to receive it to be able to say yes or no.
I'm with you. Right. Okay, good. This is something we'd covered previously. I think it was the quite wonderful Ruth Stevens. She was on the show about data and data cleansing. And I think she might have been the first one to have coined on the show that America is the Wild West of data and data privacy.
Love Ruth.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. I just thought that was kind of amusing. Yeah. All right. Well, good. I'm glad we covered that. Now, we've done measurability with CTV, but what about addressability with CTV? This is another area that we need to cover. So could you tell us about addressability with CTV?
Sure. So addressability, similar to the measurable side, is we can get very granular with the audience on how we build audiences. So like I said, if you're targeting you want to reach CMOs for your product, right? So what you can do is you can build an audience of just CMOs, and we have the capability to only target those CMOs, right? So if you're the CMO, we would send you the message. If your next door neighbor is an IT manager, he would get a separate message, right? The linear audience doesn't work that way. When you're on a program, whether you're IT manager or you're the CMO, if you're watching that show, you get whatever ad is placed in there, right? So that's the big differentiator here is you can do that layering from a B2B perspective by titles or job, type of jobs they have, and actually really, really define your audience and be able to then hit that audience with your ad. So you don't have that thing with linear where you might not be reaching the audience you want to reach with your ad. So you have waste and spend and not get the ROI that you want.
Yes, that's a very diplomatic coverage of the concept that with traditional television, you've got massive wastage. I would have gone down that route, but
you have massive reach too, right? So, to give everybody their due, you do get massive reach, but if you're looking for ROI, if you're looking for that audience, if you're looking to reduce that waste, then CTV is the way to go because you can be very finite with where your ad is going to be seen.
Yes. Okay. No, nice. So what would you say are some of your favorite examples of the techniques which the most successful advertisers are using right now when it comes to CTV?
A couple of my favorites are the not only can you do that finite pinpoint targeting, but you can also do that finite pinpoint suppression. What I mean by that is, James, you're a CMO and you already have my product. I don't want to send you an impression to say, buy my product. You've already bought it, right? Mm-hmm. So I can also suppress you, which is another way of reducing waste and increasing ROI is James already bought my stuff. I don't need to sell him, so why send him an ad? So some of my favorite techniques that we see with our clients is that capability in a near real-time manner to get data on existing customers and suppress those customers, right? So, we can take a geographic area and say in Florida, for example, we're targeting all CMOs of healthcare companies, but we want to suppress all of our existing customers. And that way, again, you get your finite pinpoint targeting without wasting on somebody that's already bought your product. So those are kind of tactics that we see with CTV that really help get things more ROI, get a better targeting, more measurability to see, okay, how many new customers did I actually add this month, right? That's a huge metric that most companies have. I run marketing here for Sturista, and one of my big measures is how many new customers did we add this quarter, right? So that kind of thing. And if I can spend more money in getting to that KPI, that's better for me than wasting money and impressions on somebody that's already existing customer.
I'm with you. I can totally appreciate how that's the suppression list, you called it, wasn't it? Yeah, suppression list.
Yes.
Is the CTV equivalent of a negative keyword list for any PPC advertising.
Yeah.
Very, very, very nice, actually. And I can totally appreciate how that would give you a significant edge in what you're doing with that. Okay. So do need to ask about budget as well, because goodness, regular TV advertising. I know. Well, here in the UK, you were able to do it at regional level, but what sort of budget or minimum budget are you looking at with a campaign, with a CTV campaign?
That's up to the user. The beauty of doing this type of advertising is it can scale, right? It's not a difficult mechanism. It's if you can do display advertising, you can do CTV, right? It's the same premise. The only difference is the type of media you're using. Instead of a banner ad, you use a video. But the premise is still the same. The pricing is higher, of course, because it's video, but you can start small and scale. A lot of my customers do that. They do small scale and they grow. So, I wouldn't say there's any typical budget. It's up to the advertisers. I've had small businesses such as, a coffee shop at the end of the street do CTV, and I've had very large, multi-billion dollar companies do CTV. So that's, again, the beauty of it. It's a programmatic type of thing. So you can go in, get your budget. You'll be able to figure out how many impressions you can deliver and all of that, and know that you'll get your delivery. So it's a lot different than television. And I spent like 25 years in TV, understand that premise, and that is the scary part in TV. Is there's a lot of high minimums to be able to do advertising on television. That is not the case here. You can start small and grow the business.
I'm with you. I'm really glad that you gave that as an example. The idea that a local coffee shop has been using CTV advertising to advertise on TV.
Oh yeah,
that's mental. From my perspective.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean, look,
wow.
if you got like $10 or something, it might not be worth it. But most people have decent budgets, and if you're going to try to do that in TV, you're not going to get a whole lot of visibility, right? You might be on at 2:00 in the morning on some show that nobody is watching. So that's the type of thing that CTV helps with, is that if you do have a smaller budget, you can start small and grow, which is the difference from being on linear.
With you, okay. Are you able to give any kind of insight for what it costs to actually get your advert in front of people, and also clarify the pricing model or the way that it's billed ultimately?
Sure. So let me start with the latter first. So it's on a CPM model, right? Mm-hmm. So it's similar to display or online video, which most people are used to doing. It is on a CPM basis. The beauty of CTV versus or OTT versus like online video is it's unskippable, right? So when you're watching your CTV ad, you can't fast forward through it, which is again a big difference from other on-demand platforms and premises. So that gives you very high viewability and video completion rates. So I mean, somebody's going to watch your ad. And they might get up and go get a drink. Can't control that, but they can't fast forward through the ad. The only way they're getting out of it is actually changing the channel or shutting down the app or turning off the TV. So because of that, the CPMs are a little higher. It is premium, but like I said, you can start small and get impressions in your area that you want to target and grow from there. So from that model, CPMs can range. I've got stuff from $6 to $50, depending on where you want to be, time of day, geo, all kinds of things. So you can start small and grow. You would have to work with your partner, such as Starista here, and they would help you determine what's the best place to be to get the best CPMs and the best audience that you want to reach. But you have those levers that you can pull versus TV, where there's less levers to pull to get to your audience.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah.
No, I was going to answer the Yeah, I was going to answer the first part, which is, where should I start? I mean, I've
Mm.
seen campaigns as little as, $500, and we get campaigns into the millions, right? So you can start small and grow from there.
Nice. Thank you for clarifying that. Oh, you know
Mhm,
what? Ad formats. Now, I'm presuming here these are 30-second
mhm.
adverts. Is that the case, or could you run us through the different durations? These are
Sure.
important.
Yeah, I mean, standard is still 30 seconds, but
Hmm.
15s, we can also take 15s. We also do longer formats. Now, 30 and 15 seconds of pricing is pretty much the same, right? So negligible CPM difference. But
Mm.
when you get into the longer ones, the 45, the 60, even the 90-second ads, the CPM is higher because you're taking up units. But those are available, and we do run them specifically in the pharma area and more B2C than B2B. We see more of the 45 and 60 and even 90-second ads.
Okay. With well, B2B ads, what is
Mhm.
it that you find that the most successful B2B marketers are saying and covering in their CTV adverts?
Majority of what we're seeing is driving their potential customers to a website, right? So sign up for things or sign up for a demo and have our salesperson call you, those kind of things. So it's actionable things, right?
Hmm.
So we have one B2B client that targets different folks for like stock traders and brokers to buy their products or pitch their products to their customers, right? So they're driving people to sign up to learn more about their products so they can introduce their products to their customers, right? We have certain clients that are doing acquisition where they want to get more business customers for their small business finance platform, right? They want to process credit card transactions, so they're trying to entice small businesses to go to their website and sign up for services. So, it's different kind of things, but a lot of what we do is actionable. It's you can do branding with CTV. It's great for that, but
Hmm.
it's also great to get that in the mind that hey, I need to sign up for the 414 podcast. I saw the ad from James. I need to go on his site and sign up for the podcast. Right? That's the kind of B2B type of stuff that we do, and it's very, again, it's targeted to certain either titles or individuals, and there's generally a call to action there to get them to take an action of some sort.
With you. Okay. I had a feeling that there would indeed be a strong call to action in these commercials, but I wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that that was definitely the case. So good, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing before we move, one thing we have to consider in CTV because it is on a television, you can't
Hmm.
click on it, right? So it's not like some of the OTT like the stuff that you're consuming on your phone or on your mobile or on your tablet. You can actually click on and get to the site. CTV, there's nothing to click on your television. So a lot of the creatives actually call for action there in a different manner. They go to Facebook or do stuff because people are generally using other devices when they're streaming. So, they can go to the Facebook site or we've had clients within their creative put QR codes in there so you can actually scan the QR code with your phone and go to the site. So there's a lot of cool creative type of things we're seeing in B2B marketing to get people to click and do that while they watch the CTV ad.
Okay. The QR code one sounds interesting, but as soon as
Mhm,
you said that, I was thinking, okay, so if I was watching TV, it would probably take me
mhm.
30 or 40 seconds to fumble around, get the phone out, unlock it, wait for the Face ID to do its thing, and then before you got a chance to actually scan the QR code on TV, the commercial's gone. Um,
Mhm.
that just
Well,
sprang to my mind. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but you remember the name, right? So if you're fumbling through and you're interested, you remember that it came from 414, so you can always go
Okay.
to the site and click on it, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to get to is that that awareness with a call of action. It's not just awareness that the 414 exists, but hey, I got to go to the site and download this podcast, right? So but we would target those people that you think would be interested, right? So we wouldn't waste it on folks that might not be interested in B2B because they work for Procter and Gamble and they push Tide to the consumers, right? They might not be interested in a B2B podcast. But if you're a B2B marketer, you should be interested. So you can do that fine tuning of the audience, send it to the people you think would be interested, and then measure it to see, how many of the people that saw your ad actually went and downloaded or signed up for your podcast.
Got it. Got it. Well, how difficult is it to actually set up a campaign? This is, I guess, a really important one to cover. Yeah, how difficult is it to actually run with this?
It's not difficult. Like I said, if you run display campaigns or your partner, whoever you work with from your DSP or agency perspective,
Hmm.
they should be able to help you get campaigns set up. Um, the big thing I would look at is how good is their data, right? So, connecting to a publisher, any DSP can do that. But, some of the things that we see in the industry is how good is the targeting data? Am I getting to the right person and that I wanted to reach? And, so because that's where the effectiveness of the campaign comes into play. So setting up a campaign is simple. It's really very easy. Any media buyer that's ever bought display or online video can do it very simply. But you have to make sure your data is something that you're comfortable with doing CTV with.
Okay. Just thinking here about maybe someone working in a smaller B2B company, and if they haven't
Mm-hmm.
got an agency taking care of that kind of thing, it's maybe they've
Mm-hmm.
got limited resources. What would someone like that do to actually get this up and running?
They would call me, James.
There
No,
we go.
just kidding.
Okay.
Uh,
that
yeah,
that works. Okay.
but yeah, but jokes aside, you should find platforms you're comfortable with.
Hmm.
There is some research involved, just like in display or anything else, or even if you're running TV, you got to be comfortable with the platforms you're working with. And if you're comfortable with the platform, if you think they can do, if they have self-service or maybe they're a managed service, just get comfortable with who you're working with, right? You don't have to use an agency. There are platforms out there that do self-serve that can work with with you to get things set up. It's something that's there if you're smaller and you want to handle it yourself, right?
Okay.
So there are platforms out there that do that, or you can just call me and I'll take care of it for you.
Your company's called Starista, but what would you
Yes.
actually define it as? What type of company is it? So I was familiar with PPC companies or Facebook management
Right.
companies, but what sort of company is your one? What category does it come under?
So we're unique in the sense that we are both a data company and a DSP or it's a demand side platform or the platform that actually buys media. So we're unique in the sense that we have both our data and it's widely used in the B2B industry by other DSPs, by other partners.
Hmm.
And we have our own buying. So the beauty of our stuff without being too salesy is that the data and the buying platform are connected. So you don't run into match rate problems and all those other things. So that's what makes us unique and effective in B2B CTV.
Right. And just to recap the acronym right here, so DSP is a demand
Mhm.
side platform,
That's
and
correct.
that's what you
And
right. Okay.
that is Yeah, so a DSP is a platform that connects the advertiser to the publisher, right? So
Right.
that's where you select all your targeting criteria. That's where you pick your geographic area, all those things, and connect your creative to the publisher. So I simplified it quite a bit. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but in a high level, it's connecting the advertiser's creative to the publisher that has the target that you want to reach.
Right.
So it's a platform to do that.
I'm with you.
Mhm.
That doesn't sound as daunting or well, no, scary is probably a big word, but doesn't sound as
Yep.
daunting as I guess it could be, or maybe in the back of my head as to how it might otherwise be. So okay, right. So you need to basically to kick this off. You need first and foremost a demand side platform partner to be able to
Mhm.
get the data and upload your content or the creatives in the form of the 30-second advert or whatever it is, and then the
Yep.
DSP then communicates with the various channels to get it on and insert it into the viewers watching stream.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. Good. All right. I was
Yeah, it's really simple. It's
good. Good.
simple.
Good. Good. Okay.
It's not daunting. Excuse me. It's not daunting at all. I mean,
Mm.
I tease my guys because my background's in sales, and I actually run some media for ourselves on our platform. So I tease people that a dumb sales guy like me can do it. Anybody can do it. So it's actually something that sounds like, oh my God, streaming service, video. How am I going to do this? And it's not that difficult to do at all. If you can run a banner ad, you can run a CTV ad.
Nice. I
If you
think
can
that's
run a
a
Facebook ad, you can run a CTV ad.
good. That's something I really, really wanted to establish and figure out. Is the
Hmm.
whole concept of, I guess, breaking through something for the first time. Because I mean, I can just about remember when I first did Facebook advertising. That first time of
Hmm.
doing it does seem incredibly daunting, and well, I guess with doing anything for the first time.
Sure.
But yeah, thank you for breaking that down because I think that's really important. So. In terms of getting buy-in, this is something I'm really enjoying covering on the show in recent times. Is
Hmm.
if a marketer would like to run with this and thinks, right, CTV, I think this is worth a punt, and we should at least try it into our marketing mix. How
Hmm.
or what would you advise a B2B marketer to do to get buy-in from the company and from their colleagues to give it a try?
The biggest thing again is the addressability and measurability with high impact video. TV has been popular because of the reach and the impact, right? So it's high impact. You're sitting around the sofa, you're watching TV, your eyeballs are there, you're interested. There's impact. It's not like you're trying to read content on a page and you have these annoying ads popping up all around you, right? It might still be annoying, but it's you're engaged and you're used to seeing that ad pop up, for 30 seconds. So it is high impact. The big thing is to focus on the fact that you can be addressable and you can be measurable and reach your audience with a high impact ad, right? So look at KPIs, make sure who you're going to go after. You have to be comfortable that yes, I want to reach CMOs of healthcare companies with my ad. Once you're comfortable with that, you have your data. Then have your KPIs. What are you measuring? Are you measuring website visits? Are you measuring just number of impressions you got? Are you measuring cost per lead? Are you measuring sales? So once you have those things defined, CTV campaigns are very effective because all of those things are measurable and you can see how you're doing. And you can optimize and tweak and change creative and add or remove from your segment. You can suppress. So it gives you a lot of flexibility, creativity, optimizing characteristics that you can do in flight or during the flight, because everything is measurable near instantaneously, right? So all our reporting is second by second, so all my clients know what happened at that any given time, so we can make decisions and make changes. Much more difficult to do with linear, right? So if you're thinking about doing linear, all the measurability, all those things are, number one, difficult to have. Number two, are something that are post campaign most of the time. So here you get that capability of doing those optimizations real time and making adjustments as you go. So it's just that alone is something I think can help from a marketing person trying to get buy-in, is the fact that, hey, I've got measurables, I have KPIs I can measure against, and I can optimize on the fly.
Nice.
So, those kind of things.
And not forgetting your earlier kind of cool point where you mentioned about a local coffee shop who's currently using CTV to do advertising. So if they can do it, all right, that's sets things up for anyone larger.
Yeah.
To be able to do
yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Cool. Well, hey, look, this has been really informative. Thank you ever so much for all of this. It's been an absolute pleasure. Mr. Hamid Qayyum, live from Sarasota in the Sunshine State over there in Florida. Thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me. It's been a blast.
Thank you. And hopefully you really enjoyed today's show as well, and crucially got value from it, because every week the whole concept and point of the show is so that you can directly expand and enhance your professional knowledge with every single episode, because I speak with some of the greatest and most interesting minds in B2B marketing. So if you liked it, and hopefully you're already signed up, if you're not, then the414.net is where you can sign up to get the weekly email so that you never miss an episode ever again, and check out all the previous episodes. Today has been episode number 86, so there's 85 other glorious episodes of B2B marketing to go and check out. There we go. All right then, well, hey, this has been the 414 Live. My name's James Rostand, and I'll see you here same time next week.